It's like it's a good impulse to like want to be expressing ourselves. And so I want to encourage people to be doing that. Um, but I want you to think about just being as creative as possible with it and as expressive as possible with it, and not just like complaining about how much you hate your job or whatever. Like, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing in that moment, you know, or like the son of the football player who's running for political office. It was like sort of a rant, like complaining about his dad. It's like, but he wasn't really expressing himself. Like the emotions were not really there. And so like I want to encourage people to be a little more abstract even, and just like be expressive in terms of like just singing, or just yelling or screaming or crying or whatever you want to do, as opposed to like thinking that it's all about this one issue, this one person, this one job, whatever, because it's usually not just about that. And also if you get a little more poetic with it, like, and just take a moment and do poetry, make up poetry that expresses yourself, that's going to be a better release for you than a rant, because a rant doesn't get you anywhere. It's just cycling within that same sort of cognitive space of where you're at. It generally is, it's not going to really make things better. So that's all I really wanted to say. I think, you know, this guy, Mike Posner, who's, I believe his name is, who's this Iraq war veteran, you know, a couple of years ago, he had, like, you know, crashed this George W. Bush speech where he was like yelling, like, apologize, apologize, my friends are dead, blah, blah, blah. And like, I think that was very powerful. And you could tell that he really meant what he was saying, like the emotion was there. And like, apparently he was going viral with a lot of younger kids. You know, I think kids really want that and they want to do that. They want to express themselves. And I mean, I always did when I was younger. And like, I mean, I still do. And so, um, you know, just it doesn't matter if you look ugly when you're crying or whatever, just like really cry, because if it's real, that's it's so worth not looking as good or whatever. And like nobody's going to be thinking that, oh, you didn't look as good. They're just going to be thinking, oh, that was either real or it was forced. And what we need is authenticity in that sense. The more the better. Okay, so we got to just stay unified as a species and a culture, and here in the US and globally as well, a human culture of people who believe in expression and expressing themselves, and that emotions are okay to have, and that you know, you can be yourself and you can express yourself, and that type of thing. So it's always, and especially for men or males, it's always been really tough to like feel like it's okay to cry or like be vulnerable and all that kind of stuff, right? And so that's, it's deeply tied with that. So super big deal, because you know, if certain kids know how to express themselves, they wouldn't go into a school and start shooting. Do you know what I mean? Potentially. So assuming they're not just totally antisocial to at the core, which maybe the solution there would not be like, oh, if only they had been able to express themselves in a productive way. But hey, you never know. So that's all I really had to say. 7 minutes, so pretty good. I was trying not to ramble too much because I have to go. But yeah, so I hope that all makes sense. I mean, you can look into like the primal scream stuff, the therapy stuff that John Lennon was checking out. I don't know much about it. It seems a little wonky, but you know, there's probably value in it. I can tell you that I used to practice screaming when I was in high school, and it was always a really nice release. I didn't do it like every day or every time I felt pent up, but like I did it fairly regularly. I would just scream, and I would usually look in the mirror while I was doing it. I don't know why. But it was really healthy for me to do that. Like I felt great afterwards. I never hurt my voice because it was a release. I wasn't just having tension and just keeping it in there and or increasing it. It was a release. You're surrendering to the emotions, you're channeling the emotions and surrendering and letting them out, type of thing, through that screaming process. Um, and Yeah, I don't think I ever videotaped any of it or recorded it, but maybe I did. I don't know. But I highly recommend that. The only problem there is you kind of want to think to yourself, well, is this going to worry the neighbors? If you're a kid or a younger person, you know, they're probably just going to think you're just being a teenager, so it's probably not as big a deal. But ideally, you might want to have a little bit of some soundproofing going on or a little bit of sound privacy. But we can talk more about all that stuff in a future video around this topic. So thanks a lot for checking out this video, listening and or watching, or both. And please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.